Her words sliced through the air like a scalpel. "You'll never be as good as Anna," she sneered, her thin lips curling as if the name itself were holy. "Your husband's ex-lover? Now that woman knew how to take care of him." I smiled. Calm, controlled. I'd practiced that expression for months. Then I stood, smoothing the crease in my dress. "Then tell her to pay all your bills," I said evenly, "because I'm done funding your lifestyle." For a moment, the air didn't move. My husband's mother blinked, confusion flickering across her face. "What money?" she asked, voice trembling. "We never got a single dollar from you." That's when I realized something was very wrong. It started 3 years earlier, when love still felt safe. Daniel and I met at a charity gala. He was magnetic, charming, a man who spoke in promises. His mother, Lydia, embraced me instantly, calling me the one who'd finally calm him down. I wanted to believe it. We married in the spring, beneath an arch of white roses and whispered blessings. Lydia cried through the vows. She called me her daughter that night, and I believed her too. I handled the finances. Daniel said I was better with numbers, so when he suggested combining our accounts, it felt natural. I was earning more anyway. He said it made him proud. I didn't notice the quiet transfers, the subtle requests. "Just for Mom's medication," he'd say. "Just until the new investment clears." They made me feel like part of the family. That was their first con. The first real crack appeared last winter. I found an old email on Daniel's iPad, his mistake. It wasn't meant for me. The message was from Anna. The subject line, "Same account as before?" Attached, a wire receipt for $15,000. The account number looked familiar. Too familiar. When I checked my own banking records, the numbers matched. Lydia's account. Only it wasn't her account. It was a shell Daniel had set up years ago, under her name, with his control. That was the night I stopped being the wife and became the hunter. I didn't confront him, not then. You don't burn the stage before the final act. Instead, I started collecting. Screenshots, emails, silent recordings. I moved funds, created backups, and traced every transaction. It wasn't just Anna. There were others. Business partners, friends. A pattern of quiet theft wrapped in charm. For months, I smiled through dinners, held his hand, kissed his cheek before bed. I became the perfect wife, his reflection of innocence. Meanwhile, I opened a private account, under my maiden name, offshore. Every week, a quiet withdrawal. Every month, a new file added to the folder titled "The End." When he told me his mother needed another small loan, I transferred the amount, not to Lydia, to an account I controlled. He signed the authorization without reading. He always did. The plan took 6 months. It had to look natural, accidental, like the kind of implosion greed builds from the inside. When the time came, I arranged a brunch at Lydia's house. I brought pastries, flowers, and a smile. Daniel came late, hungover from his business trip. That's when Lydia delivered her line. The insult, the sneer, the trigger. And when she claimed she'd never received a cent, I realized the extent of his lies. He'd used her name, her sympathy, even her frailty, to hide the theft. So I smiled wider. "Then maybe you should check your balance," I said softly. She did, right there on her phone. The account was empty. Closed weeks ago. Daniel's face drained of color. I watched realization crawl over him like rot. "Where's the money, Daniel?" I asked. He stammered, blamed the bank, blamed me, blamed everyone. But the truth was simple. Every fraudulent transfer, every shell account, every falsified signature, I had already sent it all to the authorities 2 nights earlier, wrapped neatly with timestamps and his own messages. Lydia turned on him first. She screamed, sobbed, demanded answers. He begged. But I stayed silent. Silence is stronger than rage. When the police arrived, I didn't look at him, just handed over the file. The officer nodded once. Daniel tried to speak, tried to reach for me, but I stepped back. "You should have checked your balance, too," I said quietly. Subpoenas. It's been 4 months since his arrest. Fraud, identity theft, money laundering, the works. Lydia sold her house to cover legal fees. Anna disappeared after the arrival. I live quietly now, in a small apartment overlooking the harbor. Every morning I make black coffee and watch the boats drift out. The money he stole from me is gone. But the money I moved, the part he never saw, sits untouched. My safety net, my exit fund. Sometimes I replay that day. Lydia's confusion, Daniel's panic, the sound of the handcuffs clicking shut. It doesn't bring joy exactly, just peace. Revenge isn't fire, it's ice. You freeze the world around them until they shatter themselves.